So last night, I ended up watching the movie Rango. And when I was watching it, something clicked in my head. I started realizing how much of the story of that movie reflects what's going on in my own life right now. And it really, spoke to me in a weird way. In the beginning, Rango lives in this little aquarium. He's alone, and he's basically built his entire personality around acting. He's pretending, creating characters and drama, talking to people who aren't really there. He doesn't really know who he is, and everything that he's doing is all just a performance. And when his aquarium falls out of the car and smashes on the highway, his entire life, his entire world just breaks into pieces immediately. And everything he thought he knew about himself instantly gets stripped away from him. And that's when he meets the armadillo, who kind of gives him this quest, and he wanders into the desert and then eventually finds this town called Dirt. And when he shows up to that town, he's intimidated, he's confused, he doesn't know who he is or who he's supposed to be. But when the townspeople ask him, "Who are you?" he creates a character. He becomes Rango, a badass gunslinger. Total improv, he's making shit up on the fly. And for a while, he's stumbling his way through this whole thing. He doesn't know what he's doing, he's lying to these townspeople. Every time he makes a decision, he's guessing, he's pretending. But as the movie goes on, the line between pretending to be Rango and actually becoming Rango starts to blur. And at the end, he isn't acting anymore. He is the thing that he was pretending to be. And I realized that in my life, that's basically me right now. My first time at a racetrack in Charlotte Motor Speedway, I had no idea what I was doing. When I got there, I saw a Radical, and I literally thought that it was an LMP3 car. I was pretending that I belonged there. I was acting confident, trying to play the role of a knowledgeable race car driver. But inside, I knew that I didn't know shit yet. I was making things up as I went along, and I was acting just like Rango in the beginning of that movie. But now, I've competed in 3 separate endurance racing events, I've driven at high speeds, I've learned a ton, I've watched, I've listened, I've studied, I've trained, and even though I'm still growing, and there's a lot more for me to learn, I actually do know a lot more than I did when I started at Charlotte. I'm not pretending in the same way that I was before. I'm starting to become the person that I used to imagine that I was. And then there's that scene in the movie where Rango crosses the road and he meets the Spirit of the West. And he basically admits, "I'm nobody. I can't go back there. I'm a fraud. I'm a failure." And the Spirit of the West tells him, no man can walk out on his own story. And when he said that to me, it really hit me, because that's how I feel sometimes. I feel sometimes like I'm not good enough yet, or like I'm an imposter, or like I don't deserve to be chasing the dream that I'm going after, or like maybe I should just walk away. But the truth is that I can't. This is my story. This is the road that I'm on. And no matter how messy my beginning has been, I can't walk out on it. I've come too far. I've learned too much. I've grown too much. I'm not the kid in the aquarium anymore. I'm becoming the person that I've been pretending to be this entire time. And the only way forward for me is to keep going. And here's a part that really stuck with me. In Rango, nobody ever actually tells him that he can't be the thing that he's pretending to be. Everybody just kind of goes with it. Most of the limits that he has exist in his own head. He thinks he's not enough. He thinks he's faking it. He thinks he doesn't belong, especially towards the end. And honestly, that's me, even now. Even after 3 races, even after facing real fear, real speed, real consequences on the track, there are still moments where I catch myself thinking, maybe I'm not built for this. Maybe I'm just acting confident, and maybe one day someone's going to call me out and tell me that I don't belong, like Rattlesnake Jake. But that's the crazy thing. Learning, growing, and changing all feels like you're pretending to be someone at first. Every version of you that you haven't become yet is going to feel like a costume when you first put it on. Rango wasn't a gunslinger until he acted like one, and I'm not a professional racing driver yet, but I'm living like one, I'm training like one, I'm driving like one, I'm thinking like one, I'm building content like one, moving through my life like one, and at some point, just like Rango, the pretending stops feeling like pretending. It starts feeling like the truth. The other part of Rango's journey that hit me is the town, because when he arrives in Dirt, it's chaotic, confusing, it's unpredictable, and everybody's thirsty for water. They're desperate. That's what the racing world feels like sometimes. Everybody wants a seat, everybody wants an opportunity, everybody wants resources, there's competition everywhere, and there's never enough water to go around for everybody. But in the movie, Rango's not the strongest guy there. He's not the most experienced, he's not the bravest, he's not the fastest, but what he is persistent. He shows up, he tries, he adapts, he keeps going even when he's terrified. And all of this that's what I'm learning about racing. It's not about who starts with the most experience or the biggest budget or the cleanest resume. It's about who refuses to quit and who keeps showing up, keeps learning, and keeps improving, and keeps stepping into the identity that they want long before they feel like they've earned it. And every day that I do this, that's what I'm doing. There's another moment in the movie where Rango, he finally cracks when the truth comes out. He's being confronted by Rattlesnake Jake, and he's taunting him. He admits that the whole gunslinger story was fake. He admits he made everything up. And for a minute, he feels like his entire identity has collapsed. But that collapse, that honesty, that's the turning point. That's when he stops playing a role and he starts actually being himself. And I've had moments like that in my life too. Moments where I see the gap between who I am right now and the person that I actually want to be. Moments where I realize how far I still have to go. Moments where the insecurity hits me so hard that I start to wonder, why am I even doing this? But those moments, they're not failures. They're little checkpoints in our journey. And they're the exact moments where growth happens, where you look at yourself honestly and you say to yourself, okay, I'm not there yet, but I am on the way. And being on the way is more than enough. I think that everyone at one point or another in their life has their aquarium moment, where it's a point where the life you've been living shatters and you're being forced to go out into the unknown and explore something new. It might be a breakup or a job change, or maybe, for me, it's a dream waking up inside of you that you feel like you can't ignore anymore, that you can't stuff down. And you find yourself somewhere that you've never been, and the old version of you is not coming with. And honestly, that's where the real identity begins. That's where the real you kicks in. It's not when you're comfortable or when you're imitating somebody, but it's in the chaos of this life that forces you to evolve, being pushed into the unknown. Rango didn't become Rango by staying safe. He became Rango by walking into a place he didn't understand, in a body he didn't trust, surrounded by people who expected things from him that he didn't think he could give them. And that's where I'm standing too. Between who I used to be and who I'm becoming. Between fear and purpose. Between pretending to be somebody and knowing that I am that person. And the last thing that I'll say about this is this. In the movie, the real turning point wasn't Rango beating the mayor or saving the town. It was when he decided that he was going to go back. When he stopped running, when he realized the role that he'd been pretending to play was actually the person he was capable of becoming all along. No man can walk out on his own story. And no matter how scared I am sometimes, no matter how overwhelmed I get, no matter how much I feel like an imposter, this is my story. I can't walk out on it. I won't walk out on it. Because the only way to become the person that you're meant to be is to keep going for long enough that the pretending becomes the truth.